Oh, namaste everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. So, this is going to be the video for Libra zodiac signs. So, if you have your ascendant or your moon sign in the zodiac sign of Libra, then this is the video for you. Okay, so before diving into Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces, which has taken place on 29th of March 2025, and it is going to be there till February of 2028. So this is like a crux of your almost 3 years. Right. So before we dive into this video, I would request you to please subscribe my channel and also hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates from my channel. And also, you can watch the video named after Saturn's powerful transit in Pisces. That is in my channel. I'm going to mention the link below in the description box. You can first go and view that video because that has everything you need to know about the transit of Saturn in the zodiac sign of Pisces based on how it is going to behave as per the 12th house meaning or the Pisces meaning and how it is going to react by coming over each and every planet. So it is going to give you good insights into laying the foundation of what this transit will bring in for you, and then you can come back and watch this video so as to have deeper knowledge about it. Okay, so let's get started. So for Libra ascendants, I'm sorry. So for Libra ascendants, Saturn is transiting in their sixth house. Now, whenever Saturn transits in one's sixth house, of course, it is one of the important time periods of an individual because Saturn here tells a person about what are the reality of life when it's about conflicts. So I personally feel that this is going to be one prominent transit for specifically the zodiac sign of Libra. That is because Saturn coming into the sign of Pisces in the sixth house is going to activate the sixth house. This means that it will go way beyond the specifications and the qualities of the sign of Libra. Like I'll give a very general and very generic example. So, Libra ascendants are the people. I won't say that these people would not have disputes in their life, they must have had it, but they always have a sense of negotiation towards situations. Libra is said to be a sign of balance, balance of relationships specifically. So these people know how to maintain their social relationships and personal relationships. So because anything associated with another person is important to them. What other people think about them, that is also important for them. So their association with people in general is important. So what happens that sometimes you will see, like for example, if we have a Libra individual or if we do not know anything about the zodiac signs, but when you get married, what is marriage all about? It's about adjustments, it's about negotiating, it's about settling down the disputes of the marriage, or whenever the two union, whenever the union of two people happens, both of them have different, personality. Libra is about finding the middle line. Libra is about settling the disputes and balancing things out, even though if you'll have to bow down your ego. That's why Sun is debilitated in the sign of Libra, because Sun does not like to adjust with the people, right? Sun wants to be prideful. He wants to we wants people to respect him and be respectful of his decisions. So Sun is does well where there are leadership, the in the leadership houses, like the first house and the 10th house. but it doesn't do well in the seventh house or the zodiac sign of Libra, because it now has to shut down its ego and work for negotiation, work for balance. It's like a king has to live with his praja, with his citizens now. Right. So that's why Libra people have a tendency to be sacrificial, not sacrificial in a sense in which Cancerians do or any other sign would do, but sacrificial in the sense that many times they opt for the mutual agreement. They opt for a journey where they can balance their conflicts. So because of that, ignorance comes in. Because of that, they might have ignored a lot of instances that they might have considered and get done with their problems, that might have not elongated their problems. So now, when Saturn is coming into the sixth house for Libra individuals, and that is in the sign of Pisces. So, Pisces is a zodiac sign which I always says has two extremes. It is either total addiction and devotion, or it's oblivionness and ignorance. So when Saturn comes into the sign of Pisces in the sixth house, this simply means that now it is going to suppress your absent-minded nature, your quality, I would say quality, or your trait of ignoring your conflicts. This is the time for you to address your conflicts, address your competition. You cannot be good and balanced with everyone. You cannot be in the good books of everyone, because not everyone deserves that. So this Saturn coming into the sixth house, it will first actually activate conflicts for you. It can activate legal matters for you, right? So it anyway, in any way, be it be in your personal life, be it be in your professional life, if you are ignoring some conflict which you in your heart know that can come again in the future, or can elongate it in such a way that can be disturbing for others and for you, this Saturn would give you the karma. This Saturn would want you to settle this dispute within this 2.5 years of transit. Saturn would want you to get done with it, so as to first face it. So Saturn is going to make Libra individual face their conflicts, face their competition, and face whatsoever practical side of dispute, conflict, and legalities is. Now, Saturn coming into the sixth house also makes a person go into legal or formal agreements or formal applications. Like, for example, a Libra individual would want to travel overseas. So they're filing for visas, they're filing for PRs, or if they are already living overseas, they are going to file for their PR, they're going to get their PR, or they're going to get their visitor visa, they're going to extend some visa, they're going to get some business visa, or anything like that. It simply means that now you will have to deal with the situations of either, and in a legal manner, you have to deal with the situations of either your workspace or your growth, your life, your conflicts. Okay, so let's just dive into the chart so that we can have a better look at it. Okay. So just one second. Yeah. So suppose you are a Libra ascendant. That means Saturn is transiting here. So, wherever Saturn comes, it sets in boundaries into that house. But is it like that it just will come in and everything comes into structure? Do you know why Saturn takes so much of time so as to come and it is not so as to come, but why it does take so much time in its transit? Because it slowly and steadily improvises things for you. So Saturn is not the karka of misery. Trust me on that. You just need to know the perspective to look at Saturn. It's not the karka of suffering. It is the karka of delays, but delays only if you are an impatient individual. If you are patient and if you have that, understanding to the reality that this much time is going to be automatically there, this much time, things take time to settle themselves, right? And like, for example, if breakup happens, if you are going to be impatient about the thing that I'm going to move on in just 1 day, 2 day, or 1 week, 2 weeks, it is not the case. If Saturn has the tendency that it will make you go through a breakup, it will make you move on from a breakup completely, like completely. That even if your ex comes in, you are a person who is strong-headed and your head is high. You won't even care about that person entering again. But it will take time. That's the patience of Saturn. That's the journey of Saturn. So that's why Saturn takes a lot of time, because what Saturn does is Saturn comes into suppose it's a room that it has to fix. It will come. It is going to check each and every wall. It is going to check each and every space that where the problem is. So maybe Saturn is a interior designer, or he's a that what do we call it, carpenter or something like that, who just does sorry blows hammer on your walls and checks if there are some leakages within, then fixes it, then does the plaster, and then does the paint, and then gives you the finished product. That is Saturn. Saturn first chaos. Saturn, whenever it comes into the any house, it is first going to cause a chaos in that house. That chaos is being caused so as to you to know that what opportunities can you have within that house, whether they are positive or they are negative. So Saturn coming into the sixth house, first it will make a chaotic like situation in your life, in the form of your work, in the form of your legal matters. So it is going to bring in disputes that you have been lingered on since so many years, or even anyone, since its third aspect goes into the eighth house. That's why I talk about, like, for example, there was an inheritance issue. Your parents were ignoring that issue since a very long time. Now Saturn is coming into the sixth house. It is going to make you acknowledge that. It is going to make you work hard towards that. So first it brings in that chaos, and then it brings in patience, because it starts fixing things one by one, slowly and steadily. And by the time it leaves that house, it fixes that house if your karma is good, if your house condition is good. So Saturn coming into the sixth house, it is going to restrict this house. It is going to give you problems with health, and especially digestive system. Then it is going to give you problems with legal matters, with your job or business, whatsoever you do. It will start, make you go for applications, legal applications. That could be applying for a loan, that could be applying for a visa, or anything associated with legal matters. But it is going to delay that process. If you apply, it definitely you will get the visa, but it is going to come in with delay if your sixth lord is not well placed, if Jupiter is not well placed, if your natal Saturn is not well placed. If suppose you apply for a PR, it might have been a very long and burdening process for you. If your sixth lord is good, your Saturn is good, it can make it happen in time, not quickly, I would say, but in time. But if it is not, then it is going to elongate that process and then give the result to you. So it restricts that house. That means you will have to restrict your conflicts. Whenever the restriction comes, the boundaries are set there. the whole, the whole area becomes confined. That means now all of your disputes are within that area only. Now you have no chance, you cannot exit that house. Even your problems cannot exit that house. There is a circle within your house in which all of you are put in together. Now you will have to deal with it. That is a situation that Saturn will give you, and trust me on that, this is going to be the most difficult, yet the most lesson learning time for you people, Libra ascendants. Definitely. Many things in your life are going to happen as per your karma. Of course, like all of you, everything is going to happen as per your karma. But if you're watching this video and you know your karmas have been good, you have been doing your social service, you have been doing nice to everyone, you have not anyhow intentionally started fight with anyone, intentionally done bad to anyone, then trust me on that, the Saturn is going to bring in the disputes, but those disputes are going to make you gain out of it. They're not going to create a problem for it. For some time, they may give you problem. That's the tendency of Saturn, but it will give you the fruits as well. But for those who have been doing wrong karmas, who have been, even accidentally, if you have hurt someone, still there is some amount of karma that you are bound to face. Right? So when Saturn comes into the sixth house, it activates your competition, it activates your legal matters, it activates your legal applications. It will not specifically, I would say, it can activate a significant job change in the very beginning time period, but then it is going to stabilize the job for you in the given time. And also, when Saturn comes into the sixth house, it gives you the opportunity of work. A person tends to work, they are available with work. And it also shows that in respect of your health and in respect of your career, you will have to set a routine. You will have to do routine and repetitive work within your career so as to sustain your career or so as to grow within your career. Now, the third aspect of Saturn goes into this house. That means you'll have to put in efforts, actions, and also, you will be doing secretive communications. And these secretive communications can be with the people, and it can also be that you are revealing the secrets during this time, right? Or you will be bound to keep your things as secret in front of your surroundings. So there's a hard work you have to put, suppose in the form of, especially it's a financial thing for you people, for Libra individuals, you will have to put in effort towards the stability of your fixed assets and stability of the money that you are going to get through inheritance. You will have to have a very dominating encounter with your in-laws family as well, because this is the sign of Pisces, and then Saturn is throwing its third aspect over it, so it also afflicts the communication in that house. But definitely you will have to work hard, you will have to build in actions also towards research work, and only after doing research, only after learning through deep sources, you're going to use that within your career. So the third aspect of Saturn is going to affect that way. Now, if you will have digestive issues, this can even lead to um, surgeries, as in surgery of your kidney stone, surgery of any area in regards of your digestive system. So that's why from day one, just be very careful of your digestive system. If you have any sort of issues within your reports regarding the digestive system, just start just start having a good lifestyle, a good nutrition pattern, so that those things can be overcome, regardless of, like, not going till the point where you'll have to turn that into surgery. right? And surgery will happen only for those who either have Mars involved within this position or Ketu involved within this position. Otherwise, it's just that you will have to take care of your routine and your digestive system. Now, the seventh aspect of Saturn is going to go into the 12th house. So, this means you may get support from foreign lands. And it also shows that the foreign government can be supportive of you, but still, suppose you are applying for a visa in a country which has been very strict. So they can be picky, they can be again selective, but again, they will be supportive as well. So it's like a mix of both the things that are going to happen here. Now, this also shows that somehow you will have to find a balance within your expenditures. This access can also make you get loan or money. It can be for studies, it can be for home. It depends on what your natal placements are, but definitely you will be having loan. You will be applying for loan, you'll be applying for some money. Okay, that is also there. Now, the seventh aspect of Saturn always works as a supportive one, but the criticism also comes from that particular house only. Okay, now the 10th aspect. So, the 10th aspect of Saturn goes into this house, the third house. So, 10th aspect talks about working hard. It talks about karma. It talks about responsibility, right? So, Saturn's 10th aspect over the third house means you will have to work hard on your communication. You will have to bear some karma with your closest friends. You know, I will put that down in a story. Like, for example, there was a close friend of yours who has been, backbiting behind your back or has been bitching around behind your back. This is the time that when it will surface, and you will get to know that this was that person who was doing that. So now what will happen is that that was actually your karma with that particular person. He somehow defamed you. And if the placement of the sign of Sagittarius is not healthy in your chart, then definitely there's going to be such a situation with either your neighbor or your close relative or your close friend, right? But you will work really hard to maintain your skills. You will doubt your skills with all this conflict around the sixth house coming. And then you will try to work hard more towards it. You will try to build in a marketing skills, communication skills, speaking skills, right? And you will have to fulfill your social responsibility towards your surroundings. So, a very good remedy for this particular transit, I would say, first thing, do not buy any leather products. Do not buy any leather products or like handbags, shoes. I remember at the point when my husband had Saturn in the sixth house for whole of that 2.5 years, I didn't let him buy his own shoes. Every 6 months, I used to buy him his favorite pair of shoes, and he didn't have to, buy any for himself. So one thing happened that in between he was like that you have already gotten me shoes. So what he wanted to do was he said, I'm going to buy a very low cost casual ones just for the office because I think I don't have them and I really need a daily wear shoes. So I was like, okay, I don't know, for some reason I was like, okay, you can buy them, okay, go ahead. And I was very casual about it because I honestly did not remember that in my mind that I should not allow him to buy that. I should warn him that, being an astrologer, I would suggest you to not to buy for yourself. I'll do that. So what happened the moment those shoes came in? I think like within what, a week or so, he just started having problems in his life. First, he had, some health issues. We had to get a surgery done, and that surgery was seriously useless because we got to know it was a stone surgery, and we got to know after the surgery was done that the stone was not there. The stone just passed right before the surgery, like one night before the surgery. Ru- Just imagine. And then his partnership was gone. His partnership he wanted to dissolve his partnership. So all these things started happening for him. And this was, I guess, this was a, I think we were 1 year down in the transit of Saturn when all of this started happening. And then I was like that I should have told you not to buy these shoes. So for being logical, I thought I told him that I'll pay you for those shoes. So what I did after a week or so, like not week, after so many days, we just discussed this and we just remembered that I told him not to buy shoes. And then he was like that, okay, then now what to do? And I told him, okay, I'll give you the money for the shoes. So in a way that are not your bought shoes. But I think that was very stupid of me. That was just we finding a solution for it. But something which has happened just happens. But you guys can also observe that for you, even if you buy any leather product, any shoes, any handbags, or any leather product, which we basically use as accessories, you will start facing problem. Some or the other conflict will arise. Okay, so be very careful of that. And then the 10th aspect on the third house will also give you a very lesson learning time period during this time with your closed ones. And you will find a very philosophical approach towards your efforts, your actions, and also your skills. During this time, whatsoever you are going to, whatsoever lessons you are going to learn, whatsoever problems you are going to learn, you're going to use them as a part of your life learning lessons and communicate with that and help other people to guide with their processes. Okay. So now, if the Saturn comes over Sun, so Saturn coming over Sun in the sixth house, this talks about major work politics. You will definitely have to deal with some significant work politics, and also considering the fact this is your 11th lord. Now, this indeed is a good placement for you because your 11th lord basically is going in the sixth house, right? So it will make you gain out of the worst situations. But this Saturn is going to crunch your ego within your workspace. It is going to crunch your ego within your competition. It will also, affect the relationship, your relationship with your elder sibling, or it can bring in some significant problem with your elder sibling, as in they might have some conflict, arise within their life. Then they'll have to take care of that. But definitely, this is going to crunch your ego in your workspace. Something like that will happen in your workspace where you will feel that this has been so overburdening. This is being embarrassing. My respect is not there. And trust me on that, you're going to raise out of this situation very gracefully. But first, you will have to bear that situation. So, Sun in the sixth house just illuminates already the sixth house, but it gives a good tendency to a person to compete with the competitors. It like automatically, um, eliminates one's competition, and it also gives, very good leadership skills within the job space or workspace. So, this Saturn will force you to work around without being a leader, just being like a team with your colleagues, with even your subordinates. Okay, so this is the situation. And also regarding the health, this can create major digestive issues or problems related to your digestive system. So a routine is highly, highly necessary for you. Okay, so if moon is in the sixth house, being your 10th lord, and Saturn is coming over it, this is the peak phase of your Sadhasati. This will work really well for your career. You yourself are a person who is like a dual individual. Wherever there is conflict and you think you might have to deal with it, you deal with it. But if you think this is not something I should deal with, you don't deal with it. So you find that you find that diplomacy within that house, with your conflicts. Now this Saturn will help you establish this nature and use that to settle down your conflicts. It will bring in conflicts, it will bring in problems, competition, but it will make you a warrior as well, because this Saturn is going to turn your emotions just you know cold for this time, and it is going to make you very focused. Being your 10th lord, it is coming ninth from its position. It is coming into the sixth house. It is going to give you immense work. You will get a lot of burden from your workspace because you will be bound to work a lot. And trust me, the more you work during this time, the more fruits you're going to get. So it's a promising time in regards of career for an individual. I think there are pigeons here who are fighting on my window. This might be some omen. Oh, see, they're fighting. They're fighting on my window. This is definitely an omen. So you will have to take care of the disputes and conflicts of your life, even though you are a person who hates to do that, who hates to visit courts, who hates formalities, legal formalities, but you will have to deal with them. And if you are dealing with them intentionally, you are dealing with them by yourself in an organized way, this is going to trouble you less. This is not going to trouble you the way if you are being ignorant about it. So, if moon is in the sixth house, it will suppress also your interactions with your relatives. It will give a very practical mindset towards the relatives, and it will also give you, especially this happens in Indian society, it gives you, some sort of problems with the relatives. They might have been very critical, might have been very criticizing, and now you will be like, even though there was a relative, if you have a lot of love with, you will get the karma related to your relationship with them. You will see the true faces of people with this. But of course, the moon is conflicted in this position. So Saturn coming over it, it will make you deal with that conflicted position. Okay, it will make you deal with your mother as well. You may have very difference of opinions with your mother also. You may have conflicts with your mother also. And also with moon in the sixth house, I would say try to have as less changes, less frequent changes within your life. Let it be changes within your job, changes within anything that you do. This Saturn is going to suppress the wobbly nature of moon. So it is going to give you a very sharp judgment, sharp criticism, and it will make you focused towards your goals. So, in regards of career, it's a very good transit. In regards of personal relationships, it can be a not so best one. It could even arise your dispute with your father-in-law because the 10th lord because the 10th lord is moon and that is in the sixth house, or it can give conflicts in your father-in-law's life, or simply your in-laws life. Now next is Mars. So Mars, if coming into the sixth house, it is the lord of the seventh and also the lord of the second. So that means that there is some conflict that you have to deal with within your home, with your spouse, and with your family. Or because of a conflict within the home, you're having now conflicts with your spouse, or because of the conflict with your spouse, you're having now conflicts within the home. But Mars is excellent in the sixth house. It gives a person excellent ability to get out of a competition, to act competitive, and to also organize their routine, organize their finances very well. So then this is activated with Saturn. I always say Saturn coming over Mars creates a kalesh, a warlike situation. Kalesh is something we call it in Hindi and Punjabi. In Punjabi, we call it as pange. Okay. So when Saturn comes over Mars in the sixth house, it's a warlike situation for you. Saturn, although suppresses the energy of Mars, if Mars has been dislocating its energy everywhere, it's overly dominating, this Saturn is going to restrict it. It is going to control it. But you know what this restriction of Saturn means? Now, this domination is not going to go here, there, and everywhere. It's actually going to go within one direction only. So if it is about something beneficial for you, then of course you'll act very focused, determined, organized, and ambitious. But if that is not the case, then you can be overly dominating within your workspace. You can be overly, disturbing within the workspace. Okay, this also means it will activate your major expense. You will have to make a major expense either on the health of one of your family members and specifically your partner. Or because of a conflict with the partner, you will have to provide them financially. That could be out of the way of alimony. So any such case could arise, but this Mars being in the sixth house in a beautiful placement, but it is in the sign of Pisces. That means there is lack of action. There is the ability to take an action, but somehow the opportunities do not act that way. Somehow you feel those bitters to not to take the action, and that basically creates problem. Now, next one is Jupiter. So if Jupiter is in the sixth house, that becomes the lord of the third and the sixth house itself. You are going to work upon your skills. You are going to manifest a good job life, right? But it is a life lesson learning period. So life lesson learning through conflicts, through obstacles and through inheritance issue or money related issues. This will also make you more spiritual. Okay, Saturn being the third lord and sixth lord coming into the sixth house. That means there can be that you are like working and very much determined upon repaying your loans. This can uh, encounter you with a lack of similar opinion. It's not a battle, I would say, but lack of similar opinion with your younger sibling. This can even initiate the marriage of your younger sibling. Now, this also means that now you will have to put up your skills into work. You will have to use your skills routine and repetitively, like we do in our career. But avoid conflicted communications. If you are a person who has his own set of beliefs and ethics, try to keep them to yourselves only. Don't try to communicate that to people unnecessarily because it will dive you into conflicts. Okay, so Saturn here is going to restrict the expansion of Jupiter. So Jupiter coming into the sixth house, it expands in the sixth house. It expands one's loans, one's money exchanges. It also gives an ability. Jupiter in the sixth house always gives an ability to a person to lend money to others. It is going to land you into problem if you do so. Or if you have lended money to someone, now is the time when you'll realize I'm not going to get that money back. So you might file for a case, you might fight with that person. So this is basically going to teach you the reality of how not to be so generous when it's about practical terms, when it's about money. Okay. Now next is the planet Venus. So Venus, if comes into the sixth house, it is exalted. So this can be a chart of a health worker. Venus is your first lord, it is your eighth lord. It would initiate a fight for inheritance. But very diplomatically, and you will want to find a balance within that situation because of this exalted Venus. This particular transit is going to work really, really well with your career, but you will have to take good care of your health. Sudden changes in your health, sudden problems within your health, you can see. But financially, it's a very good time period. In regards of relationships, it can be quite conflicting. With Mars in the sixth house or Venus in the sixth house, it can be a conflicted transit. It can even initiate separation. But one more thing I would say specifically for people with Venus in the sixth house, exalted, be careful of affairs within your workspace. If if you are married and you get to have a affair within your workspace, I'm telling you, just let it go. Do not indulge into that, or your marriage is going to not survive. So this activation can bring in disputes within the relationship, regardless if it is not the Lord of the seventh house. It can bring in that separation or distance with the spouse. It could even be that you are living somewhere else, your spouse is living somewhere else. For example, if you are living in UK, US, and your spouse is living in India, and she's finding the hardest time to reach towards you. This can also be the case. So it means for the 2.5 years, there is going to be filing all the files, documentations, everything. And then you'll have to deal with that delay and separation with the spouse. And then towards the end, the spouse is going to come towards you. That will depend on your natal placements, that what the timeline would be. Exactly. Okay. So, but in terms of career, it's good. Now, next, okay, next is Mercury. So, if you have Mercury in the sixth house, that's debilitated. That's the 12th lord, and also that's the ninth lord. It can initiate travel for either work, work as in job or business, or studies. This Saturn will suppress your communication. It will suppress your debatable nature, your debating nature. It is also going to make you feel fearful about, just a second, yeah, it is going to make you fearful about your health. You are going to search online, you're going to search here and there about your health. You are going to have unexpected superstitions. You'll be all the time thinking, oh, this might happen to me, this might happen to me. So this is going to give you anxiety, it is going to give you depression, and ultimately you will understand there was nothing. It also will make you do um the accounts of your debts. If you have any debts, it will want you to, get done with your debts. Okay. It can give speech problems for a while to a person. Then it also will give you interest into technology. And you might use technologies within your career every day. You'll start developing interest in technology or technical creation, and you will use that in your work. This could even talk about your negotiations or your settling down of debts with the relatives. Okay. Now, next will be Saturn itself. So, if Saturn is in the sixth house and Saturn is coming over sixth house, it's the lord of the fourth house and fifth house. It can initiate the birth of a child for a Libra individual, or you'll have to take the responsibility of your child. So birth will happen, or it's eventually that the birth of child will happen, and we'll have to be responsible towards the child. It can even initiate uh, your love encounter, or it can initiate disputes within your love encounter. Okay. And this will also give some problems within the home environment. Your Not just you, but your mother, but your family has to also deal with the issues, with obstacles. Somehow, somewhere, you will develop sense of practical boundaries around your heart space. You will have to get out of your comfort zone and work. This can even lead you to invest into shares and do speculations. But I would doubt that whether you should do that. Because whenever the retrogression of Saturn will hit in, it is going to give you losses, or it is going to give you some sort of karma. That can be good or bad. That depends on your natal placement. So it's like a natal return for you. So you definitely have to deal with conflicts within your home environment. within your life. You will have to face obstacles within forming a routine. There are going to be no plans that are going to work out for you. If you're planning that today I'm going to do this, tomorrow I'm going to do that, so that is not something which is going to get into fruition. Delays are going to come into whatsoever plans you make. That's why go unplanned, be unpredictable. That is the best remedy. Okay. So when Saturn natal return comes in, it's like 2.5 years, which is snatched from a Sarasati. So it can be good, it can be bad. It depends on how your your natal planet Saturn is placed. Okay. This looks like my Saturn is over Mercury right now, although it is not, but I'm feeling like that Saturn is transiting my Mercury somehow. Because of all these fumbles and everything I'm getting. Now Rahu in the sixth house. Already, because of your actions, like you don't desire that or you don't wish for that, but you create enemies. Because you're so fiery. Not, I would say you're fiery, but you're clever while dealing with your competition. So, because of this nature and because of natural blessings that you have, that your competition just vanishes away or things just work out for you. You have developed a sense of, I would say, a sense of belief that nothing bad can happen to me. Now, this Saturn is going to break that belief of yours. Even if you have not found that arrogance into it, that was just an example to quote, but still a person in their mind do have that have that thing that okay, everything is going just fine, nobody is expecting any change, right? But when Saturn is going to hit that Rahu in your sixth house, it is going to suddenly give you massive things to deal with. If you're jobless right now or you're frequently changing jobs right now, this Saturn will stabilize you into one career, one job. Now, whether it is the final one or it is not, that depends on your natal placements. With Rahu in the sixth house, take good care of your health, especially your digestive system. Whenever I see sixth house, I know something related to the lower abdomen is going to happen, like any issues related to the kidneys, liver, uh, digestive system, intestines, something related to this happens. I've seen cholesterols, I've seen stone issues, I've seen gastric issues, gastroenteritis issues. So there's so many things that can relate with that. And when Rahu in itself is a gas, so Saturn is coming over it. It is first giving you the karma with that gaseous thing. And then it will settle that dispute also. It will settle your gas stuff also. But first, it is going to make you deal with it. How is it is going to settle? It will set you into a routine. It will suppress your competition, unnecessary competition and unnecessary enemies. It is going to make you work with some hyper technicality, like, for example, AI. You're going to work with technologies, AI now within your work, right? So if Ketu is here, and with Rahu in the sixth house and Saturn coming over it, be very careful of unnecessary debates, unnecessary quarrels with someone that can lead you into problems. Suppose, for example, if you are getting a ticket from the police officer, do not go stand there and start explaining yourself and start argumenting with him, even though it could not be a problem, but for you it might become a problem. Okay, so you will have to be a little mindful of these things. Now, next, if you have Ketu in your sixth house, It can activate a surgery. It can activate detachment, or can bring in a delay or gap within your work. You might have to close your work. You might want to close your work because you want to start something else. Maybe you'll have to settle things in your homeland and now go and settle in the foreign land or some other land, because Rahu is going to be in the 12th house. But this is the time when you have to dive into your internal self. You will have to build in your creativity. There's some skills of yours that you will have to, you know, learn those set of skills and then go back to another career. You will get ideas of following different careers, and for that, you'll have to learn, you'll have to gain an expertise. Whenever Saturn joins Ketu, it gives the direction to Ketu. So that's why it can be very helpful for Ketu that Saturn is coming over it. Okay. But at the same time, these things are not going to come easily. Wherever Ketu is, it does bring it just attracts problems and sacrifices towards them. So this means you'll have to make a significant sacrifice towards your work life, towards your relatives, right? So, guys, this was my analysis about Saturn in the sign of Pisces for Libra zodiac signs. I hope this gives you good insights for your upcoming time. Now, if you would like to have your personal readings, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com. Under the reading and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. Okay? So see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care.